Hey guys, my name is Chrissy Smith. Welcome to Nine Lives Energy, and together we energize your body from the inside out. I want to give a shout out to my friends over there at Redox Signaling Molecules. They are sponsoring my energy today. I get a little nervous before I get on, so I use the Redox Mind, which is this red packet, and the Redox Mood, which kind of calms me down. So if I mix these two together, it's good for right before taking a test. And I wanted to remember all the things that Deb and I were going to discuss today. So I want you to tell me a little bit about your weekend. What have you been up to, my friend?
Ooh, when I say busy bee, busy bee. Thanks. First of all, let me acknowledge Nine Lives Energy and thank you for having me on for our Ruse Day. I look forward to it. One thing that I did this weekend that was wonderful, one of my friends had a sacred sisterhood circle and I attended and boy, did I enjoy myself. I really, really did. So that was the highlight of my weekend.
Good. Tell me a little bit about that event.
Okay, well, it started at 11:30, as if that's significant to me because number one, it happened on a wonderful date, which was the 11th, and we had a lot of activity going on in the heavens because Pluto shifted back into Capricorn, and then you had Mercury that shifted over into Gemini. So I was aware of that, and the moon at that time was in Pisces. So the event was where an acquaintance spoke, and her name is Chakra Wanda, Reverend Chakra Wanda. And so she told us all about what her work is, and it was sound healing. And so she told us her story, and then we went outside in the elements. Oh, we were under a tree, and she had talked about how she heard all this beautiful music coming in with these different instruments. And so she was like, didn't know anything about instruments or playing them. And each one of her instruments, they were given to her. And so she had this angel harp. There were the singing bowls. There were the chimes. She had a little bongo. When I say, then we were sitting out there, and when I tell you that breeze that was coming while she was strumming and playing those different instruments, it felt so ancestral out there. It was like my hair was blowing. You could just feel the wind, and I was like engulfed in it because I know that sound, the practice of sound healing really resonates with our bodies. And so all of us were like, it was like being high. I promise you, that's exactly what it felt like then. So the rest of the evening, I didn't want to do anything. I didn't do anything. I came home just like when you get a massage or you get some body energy work done. A lot of people just keep on going, but it's good to go home and just settle down and just rest and relax. So I thoroughly, thoroughly enjoyed it, Chrissy. Thoroughly.
Good, good. I've had a sound bath experience before, and I use those when I do like meditation. So I'll have a hypnosis meditation in my ear, and then I'll have a gong bath or a sound bath playing in another like speaker, and I hold it to me so I can feel the vibration. And
Oh,
yeah, they it is life changing to have an experience like that, to work with an energy a sound energy therapist, and then also if you had other people that were there, whenever two or more gathered, it just allows that vibration to be even more expansive because you have other people that you are working with their energies, you know.
absolutely.
Awesome. So how do we get in touch with them? Can we just have people email you, and then they can get that person's contact information that way?
Absolutely. I'm sure Chakarwanda would not mind. I mean, she goes to different parts and when she's guided and she just goes and plays and people just gather. And she even told us the story of an autistic child that when she was at the park that just came up and was so into music is It is. It's. I think it was the OJs that said it. Music is the healing source of the world, and I believe that it can calm down the most wildest and can create the wildest too.
Oh yeah.
So yes,
Oh
it
yeah.
definitely has healing properties, and so when you add that to it, absolutely. So definitely, if you want her information, I'll be happy to share it with you. Just send me an email, and I will forward it on to her, and you can contact her.
What other events were at this little, I guess, spiritual retreat that you went to, other than the sound healer?
Well, that was pretty much the whole time, when she gave us her background, her childhood, and she was just talking about being held. Oh, I forgot about this part. There were two ladies there that were definitely, I knew the ladies, and they were asked to read poems.
Okay.
And so one of the ladies she just has mounds and mounds of writing. And this particular writing that she read about, it was about nicknames. And she said her name is Shirley. However, her daddy used to call her Shelley. And so she said the poem was talking about, how different people can give us different names. Maybe they can't pronounce our name, or maybe that's the character that they see us at. But really knowing who we are. That was the gist of the poem, knowing who we are and coming into the planet to be able to finish what we are assigned to finish. So that was wonderful. And then the other one was about being patient with yourself, and at the same time not being such an emotional ball of wax, because that poem was like, I think she said it was written like in 1629. And so she said that she had to memorize it in high school, and it stuck with her because of the piece in there in regards to being able to manage your emotions, especially when it comes to what other people think that you're supposed to do and what you're supposed to do. So she said it's like been a guiding light to help her to keep her emotions reined in when she has to make any type of decision. So that's what the dialogue was all about. And I thought that that was very right on time-ish, because that's what the Gemini is all about anyway, communication and writing. And so the young lady, the one that had the mounds of writings, and she had said that the main thing was the fear that was holding her about. What if people don't like them, you know? And so she had to have some confidence to read them out to us out loud. And it was just so just relaxing and very spirit guided, and everybody was just, it was such a beautiful day on Sunday. So got an opportunity to just bathe and all that goodness. That's what I call it, just goodness.
That's so awesome. Guys, there are a lot of people that are struggling right now with whatever it could be. It could be a loss of a job. It could be a loss of a spouse. It could be a loss of a pet. It could be maybe they just don't know what they want to do right now. Maybe they've hit some hard times financially, and how are they going to get out of that? So, a lot of these energies that we're working with right now are around abundance, and our mindset in how we receive abundance and the lack mentality. If you have anyone that needs to be lifted up in prayer, or needs to be sent some good vibes, or just needs to have a positive thought, please leave that information in the comments below. If that is too personal for you, just send a little heart, or maybe find an emoji on your phone that resonates with whatever you need to have uplifted today. Because if you heal yourself, you really do have the opportunity to help and heal others, and go to retreats like what Deb went to, and those are ways that you can help increase your ability to understand how to get abundance in your life, and try to work through some of these lemons that have been cast at you in order to make lemonade. So let's get into our topic, Deb. I could sit here and chat with you forever, but we are going to be talking about the new moon in Gemini and also the summer solstice. So let's talk about that new moon in Gemini first.
Let's do it. And when I say we would think that Gemini isn't responsible for a little bit, because when we hear the communication, transportation, computers, and all those things, but I actually have a book, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to read those areas of rule that Gemini is responsible for so that you can take a look in your individual life as well as looking at it on a collective basis, because that's what the new moon and the full moon is all about. That it's collective energy that our universe is speaking to us so that we can come in alignment and get these things done in these particular areas that we want to get done. So the new moon is the time frame when we have detached from old things that are not working, and we are bringing in just what it says, new. We're bringing in the new ideas. We are on the creative side, what's working with what we've been doing, and we can add to it where new ideas will come to add to it to further along our projects that we're working on. And abundance is a project, accepting and receiving and moving and doing what we need to do. Okay, so here it is: motion, activity, learning, communication skills, logic, cleverness, social ease, positive daily interactions, calming mental anxiety, automobiles and mechanics, short trips, transportation, restless energy, excitability, factual information, formal education, print media, the internet, curiosity, writing, speaking, effective listening and teaching, mental rapport, understanding different opinions, awareness of options, cleverness, short-term results, handyman skills, ingenuity, variety, tact, acceptance, quick thinking, enjoying the moment, wittiness, having a sociable nature, brothers, sisters, neighbors, schoolmates, roommates. And then when the energy is not where it needs to be, excessive questioning, trickery with words, superficiality, nervousness, indecision. And the parts of the body that Gemini has is the hands, the wrists, the arms and the shoulder, hay fever, lungs, breathing, and the nervous system. Who knew? All of that falls under, I'm going to call it an umbrella, falls under the umbrella of the Gemini energy. And so when we look at these different areas that can be effective in our lives, we know what to look for. And here's a great explanation that I found, and this one was actually on Cafe Astrology talking about the Gemini new moon. The new moon in Gemini cycle presents opportunities to commit to personal goals that express the positive energy of the sign of the twin. It's time to improve our communication skills by listening to others and enjoying others' points of view rather than doggedly seeking to find the one elusive answer. And me and Christy was just talking about that earlier. You can learn a lot just by listening. So we hadn't even talked since you sent me a video, and it did just had just that caption. You can learn more when you listen. This is a good cycle in which to reevaluate our communication and social skills by questioning just how much we actually take in information and communicate in a friendly, non-threatening manner. Wouldn't our world be better if that could be implemented? And so on an individual basis, that is what it's calling for us to be responsible in doing, to be able to answer and question in a non-threatening way. And with the potent Gemini energy, which Gemini is air all day, and it is a mutable mode, which simply means that we're at the end right before we switch over to Cancer, which is the cardinal. So we're getting ready to move into a whole new cycle, the summertime. And this beautiful thing about it, with it being that way, it means that we can make the changes necessary because communication is so key. If you don't have communication, well, when I say pretty much you can just forget it because communication is key to any relationship. And as I said, you got to communicate with your siblings, with your co-workers. So all of the way that we're talking to one another, what messages we're getting across, and where it actually starts more than anything else. And we've said this repeatedly. And when you say something repeatedly, that means that it's very important. So we'll keep emphasizing, what are you telling yourself? Who is the narrator in the head, in the mind, that is telling you or speaking to you, bringing these narratives? Are they what they should be, focusing on those things, or is it from the negative of what you don't have, what you can't do, and all these things? And the new moon energy gives us that time frame that we can sit and we can write our list down. You can do anything that you choose to do, make your own ritual, and you can actually go on the internet and look and see what other people are going to do, but find what fits you for during this time. And so communication is key. What am I saying to myself? And then what am I saying to others? And remember, in a non-threatening way. Because remember, we still have some potent energy out there. Pluto still is in retrograde. So be mindful of, just take a few minutes, few seconds. Let me see how I'm going to express this in a way that's not offensive, nor either is it offensive, but it is in a harmonious manner that I can get across what I need to get across. So that's what's going on with this beautiful Gemini new moon that's going to be coming up Sunday.
Well, I tell you what it is affecting me is that I felt like I needed to kind of get into a better routine. And I was reminded really quickly this past weekend how quickly I do. And then I think about what I just did instead of let me sit back, let me gather all my information, let me assess my resources, and then make a plan and then do. For example, I was on a boat this past weekend and I went to go take a picture. And when I did, my hand went back to the float and the float fell in the water. So instead of being like, I have a boat, or maybe it's not that far, I can reach down to get it, my Aries, which is let's go for it, let's do without thinking, jumps in the water.
Oh.
And it was funny and I laughed about it. But then I just have to, instead of saying to myself, like you're talking about the negative talk, instead of saying, you are so stupid. Why did you do that, Chrissy? Now look at your hair. I just laughed. I was like, oh, that just goes to show you that I need a little bit more of a reminder that I need to think before I do. How is the new moon affecting you personally, Deb? Would you like to share?
Well, I can tell you one thing for me, I'm an overthinker. And so, however, that I can acknowledge that I overthink. And so in overthinking, you can not do anything. Yeah. And so that is what I have to actually remind myself of. Like, for instance, I had been saying that I was going to start doing water aerobics. And so I finally went and did it. I did it. So I signed up at our aquatics center, and it's here in Greensboro. So I'm going to be doing water aerobics because it's very easy on the muscles. And then when I think again, because I'm Cancer and Pisces, so I got water everywhere, and my ascendant is Cancer. So water. So I am going to the water and being excited about it. And at the same time, observing my thoughts. That is what I do on the daily. I talk to myself a whole lot. And people used to say when you talk to yourself that something's wrong with you. Well, something's right with you when you're having dialogue with yourself. And so I ask myself that question, well, who's thinking that? Well, why is that? I begin to actually question it. And then it is from not definitely from a non-judgment perspective. And that's what I love. I am learning and learning and learning not to be so judgmental on myself. And so I realized that the majority of the judgment simply is coming from conditioning anyway. So then that allows me to have such a softer landing in making the necessary correction. And when I say making the correction, I just simply mean doing different. And that is how I'm able to, what I call having success, is when I do different than what I'm used to, that has a negative impact, meaning that I don't do what I'm supposed to. So mine is definitely overthinking and being better and bringing that into a balance so that I can go ahead and keep the momentum and keep moving. So as I do look at, what's going on in the habits, it helps me to be able to, number one, relate to me. And then then it goes out to that whoever I'm interacting with that particular day. So I'm not so jumpy when other people are jumpy. So in other words, I have a response more than I have reactions now, Chris.
Yeah. And I'm sure that there's a lot of people that are in your friend and family circle that probably come to you because they like your calm. They want some of that because you see people living in the chaos. And what that means is chaos is that they don't know how to respond to what's happening to them and go inside. They're responding to the external. They aren't understanding the internal so that they could have a better response to the external. So is that true? Do people come to
That's
you and your
absolutely
family?
true. That's absolutely true. It's because the majority of the time when I am dialoguing with somebody, and I have to definitely become a listener because immediately you want to interject and, well, why don't you do this and why don't you do that? And I steer away from all of that because guess what? We can make our own decisions and we have the answers within. So that's generally what I'm doing is turning the individual back to them own selves. If that's a word, well, I will make it one today. Turning it back to say, well, what do you think that you should do in regards to this? And so the main thing is that I emphasize with people when I am sharing is that I live in a life of peace. That state is, it's indescribable for everything. Okay, the situation, whether it's a challenge, circumstance, or it just doesn't matter what it is, whatever comes, I face that at that particular moment. And then I'm like, okay, I got to get back to my peace state. And it's not avoidance. It definitely is not. It's just that I know the importance of calming the nervous system down. Because when we say that we don't want the ills or what have you, so in other words, it's learning to live life less without having problems. Because a friend of mine, we were talking about that the other day. She said, well, Deborah, what if you didn't have a problem? That's like what if you didn't have a problem? Or would I say this would be a lovely life? And I'm like, wow. So when people are bringing things, I have to look at that. Is this a problem? And really, it's not. It's finding that state of peace and constantly staying in the present moment so that a solution, an answer will show up. And it generally happens. It does personally for me. So instead of me getting all riled up about different things as I used to, And again, that is how we were taught. That's how we were conditioned. And doing differently brings about different results in a healthy, whole way.
Mm-hmm. Well, we are going to change topics to summer solstice real quick. Can I get your email address again? It's R Robin, or is it R Robin? R Robinson. What is it?
Nope, you said it right the first time. rrobin12 at bellsouth.net.
All right, at bellsouth.net. Our next topic is going to be the summer solstice. So I have Deb's information scrolling across the bottom if you'd like to make an appointment with her for a birth chart reading. Okay. And our next topic is going to be the summer solstice. So tell us a little bit about that. This is what I know about the summer solstice. It's the longest day of the year, and that there's usually a party down the street. And where is it? The Latham Park? Is that it?
Lindley Park.
Lindley Park. I had to start over with an L. Anyway, I'm going to put the information about that as well in the description, along with the information about Deb's contact information, so you can email her if you want to get information about the sound bath as well. So tell us a little bit about what the summer solstice is for people who may know less than me.
Well, we have two solstices every year. One is the winter and one is the summer. And this particular one is, well, I'll put it this way. The winter one happens December the 21st or December the 22nd. And those dates vary only because of if we have a leap year. And then the summer solstice is June 20th or the 21st. So this year it is on the 21st. And it's just like you said, it's either long day or the shortest day. And it depends on, which hemisphere we're in. We're in the northern, so at the southern hemisphere, it is wintertime there. So here we are, we're going to have us a long day when that day happens on the 21st. And at the same time, we are moving into the sign of Cancer, my time of the month of the astrological year. Yes, Cancer. The nurturer.
When's your birthday?
17th
of
July
June?
17th.
Oh, July 17th. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. And I'm not one of those individuals who are afraid of the age. I'll be 66.
Oh, wow. Well, you look
very
56.
Excited. Thank you. Yes, I'm very excited about it. I'm like, wow, what's going to happen next? And I tell you what, when you ask that question, the universe can bring you a lot of surprises. So yes, ma'am, we are moving into the summer solstice, and Cancer is a cardinal mode, which is an initiator because we're starting a new trine with the Cancer, Leo, and the Virgo. And then the next one, of course, will be the fall. But where we are right now, we do have a lot of activities going on in the heavens, as I said, with the Mercury that is now in Gemini. So communication, media, we're going to see all those things that are continuing to happen. And then you've got Mars, and you've got Mars that's sitting in Leo, and Venus is in there. So there's a lot of romantic things that are happening in the heavens. And also be mindful when Mars is showing in a sign, there can be some violence. So accidents. So be mindful of that. And at the same time, with Mars being in there, that's energy, that's action, that's getting it done. And then with the Venus energy being in there, that's beauty, that's money, that's love. So there could be some connections happening, and that'll be a good thing for all of our relationships, because we do still remember this is a 7-year. So that is all about partnerships, relationships, and there could be a lot of breakups too. So, just depending. But again, as we continue to do these practices, individual as well as collective, Our world is changing. And one thing that I wanted to say about the Pluto energy that's in Capricorn now, be mindful that it may have looked like we were moving forward and things are going to slow down just a tad. So it may look like that things are getting worse. But it's been an old adage for eons that says the worst happens before the best. And
Yep.
so when it's all in the perspective, when we know that these changes that are actually very transformative, they're not changes just to say, oh, well, I didn't notice there's change. These are noticeable changes. And because they're transformative. And so Pluto is taking its time to pluck and bring all these hidden things to the surface so that we can become a better world. And again, climate change, money, food, all these things. We got whistleblowers that are out that are talking about the things that are going in our foods. And so we are being better educated. We are being re-educated. And so we've got a lot of knowledge that's still there for us to evolve and for us to have good living experiences. So with Mars and Venus being in fiery Leo, woo, when I say a lot of drama, woo, drama, drama, drama. So the drama is good. And at the same time, this is the most wonderful thing that I love about Leo. It's all about the heart.
Yeah.
So when we come from the heart, when it's very heart centered, all of these external things that are happening, when it begins with the internal, then we have a more stay power like that of the Taurean energy. When it's the opposite of the stubborn energy that it just doesn't want to change at all. And then when you have that steadfastness, so that's what we are striving and thriving for, is to have that steadfastness so that we can have better experiences and that our planet can heal and we can get back. So that's what the summer solstice is all about. Staying in there, heating thing up. And remember now, Pluto is intense. So things will remain intense. But use that energy, that intense energy, to get your projects done that you're going to want to put down for the new moon so that you can keep the momentum going and it will affect every area of our lives.
Well, we did get a taste of the
That's right.
because where we are going, this is not going to be able to go with us. It's not going to be able to survive. And when I think about
Exactly.
Gemini, I think about two. There's two sides to every story. There's the truth,
Good point.
there's lies, and which one are you going to believe? So it's like, you know what? The best way to figure out the answer, to go inside. What do you feel, Leo, at the heart level? Not with the monkey mind. What do you feel at the heart level is the truth? And then go
Yeah.
from there. And a lot of people, they like all these distractions from the television or with gaming, and I'm like, find your own distraction with you. What makes you happy, and go do that. What helps you to be able to create? What helps you calm your energy? Not what is escapism. You know what I mean? I'm going to escape on my couch and watch television because I don't want to think about what's going on. Or
Mhm.
I'm so enamored by all these distractions that I'm like, look over here, look over here, look over here. And then I don't look at myself. So guess what? Now I'm all caught up in that chaos, you know? So
Yeah.
thank you so much for sharing that. Did you have anything else to add about the summer solstice?
Nope, that's pretty much the exciting part about it. And I will say for today, we do have Saturn that is going to be squaring over to Pisces in that energy. So Mercury and Saturn, because Saturn is in Pisces, so they are square, which simply in astrology terms, it means that this is challenging. So challenging what? Because you got Saturn, that's the rules, and then you have Gemini, that's the curiosity, the curious ones, the questions, the one that wants to communicate. And so again, where is our responsibility to be able to change us, to be able to help others to change? And isn't that amazing? Because when we do make these necessary changes, we are impacting others and inspiring them to say, maybe I want to do some of the same things. So we're changing the world and transforming the world, and we're having fun doing it, because Geminis, they do have fun. They do. And they're funny, and we are too. So be reminded that we have some of every part of each sign in us. And so this is leaning to the Gemini side of us. What you gonna do with it? What are the messengers of the gods saying to you in the summer solstice? Like you said, it's gonna get hot, it's gonna get romantic, it's gonna get steamy. So here we are. Enjoy yourself, celebrate, and by all means be safe, and by all means stay in the state of peace. You can't beat it.
That's right. Speaking of state of peace, part of my assignment for my students this week is to tell me what their routines are. I started talking about what my routines were back in 2020. And as a personal trainer and group fitness instructor, I would spend my morning, I'd wake up probably about 4 o'clock in the morning and be at the gym by 5 or earlier to train people. And I did that for many, many, many years, probably 20 or 25 years of my life. And then I would work a full-time job, and then I'd come back to the gym and do even more fitness classes where I'm helping everybody else. And somewhere in between there, I'd exercise. And if that wasn't enough for me exercising, I had to go and do fitness competitions. So when 2020 happened and I didn't have that outlet to exercise with people and then go party in the nightclub during the weekend and dance even more and stay up all night, it's like, well, what do I want to do with my routine? So my routine was, all right, well, I'm going to fix this house up, because I had just purchased a house, and something that made me feel successful was seeing me complete projects, because I was not completing the project of work exercising anymore. I didn't want to do that. And what had happened was I just started doing all these projects around the house. And then I got into a state where I wouldn't eat and just focus on doing the projects. And then I started saving America. Well, then that was even more of a distraction, because I was like, let me put more people first before my own needs. And even though I was doing something that was worthwhile and it allowed me to meet you, Deb, after 2022, it's like, okay, well, who do you want to be and what's your routine now? So I had gotten in a habit. Well, I don't know what I want to do. I'm going to just do some meditations for about, an hour or 3, or now I'm going to walk my cat. Now I'm going to grade some papers. There was nothing that was regimented. So I'm in the habit of trying to get some new routines established and putting me first, waking up in the morning, starting to write lists and checking it off. And I know that it sounds elementary, but I'm like, if I want to create a business, then I got to get in the business mindset. What does someone who wants to create a business look like? Then you need to be like that. And I started telling myself, well, what does that look like? And so I'm starting to get up early. I do my meditations. My favorite thing to do now is to walk in the woods, and I let spirit talk to me. And then this morning I did that. I went outside. I got my meditations in. I brought my work with me, and I did work from my favorite place in the woods. Why do I have to sit at my desk and do my YouTube, instructional video about routines? Why can't I do that looking at my favorite place, and establish a new routine with myself? Because I think that it starts with having an example to share with other people. If you're telling people that they need to have a better routine, then what does your routine look like? And you need to make sure that you're surrounding yourself also with people that have good routines that can look up to you, that you can look up to or work with, and then that way you're both you're leveling up. So you seem to be pretty successful, Deb, and we've spoken on a personal level about some challenges and things like that that you've had. Tell me about what your routine looks like. How are you successful these days?
Well, again, the majority of the time, my day to day is different because it just depends on what I have to do. Because I'm very supportive to my sister who has had a lot of illnesses. However, she's doing wonderful. And so that depends on that. And I already know what my schedule is to do that. But I consider that being of service. That's real big with me because that's where my Jupiter is in Virgo. So being of service, I yearn for it. So at this particular time, that is where my being of service is at with her. When I'm not with her, my when I get up in the morning, it's first of all, I just kind of lay there and I just going straight into gratitude. Because I don't call my bed, I call it my resting place. I thank my resting place for holding me throughout the night, keeping me safe. And so then I make it up and have it all pretty. I got yellow on my bed ensemble, and then I love the cardinal, the red bird. Oh, and so one of my friends had given me a pillow because she knows that I love the cardinal, so they accent my bed. So I thank my resting place for the dreams, that the ones I can remember, the ones that I can't remember. I just thank it for a good night rest because I make sure that I get a good night rest. Honey, lights out between 10 and 10:30 because I know the importance of rest. And it's and then I drink some water to get my body going, get my water in and start hydrating. And then there are sometimes as a female, honey, because we got a list, okay, that just goes on and on. It just depends on what the list is, but I never ever fail to give thanks for today. And I thank my guides for coming in and guiding my way and what my evolution is going to be for the day. And I can sense, I look and see what's going on in the heavens, what's happening with me. What do I need to do today? So I'm looking for divine guidance. And then from there, I let it unfold. And it does. And so, yes, whatever is on the plate for that day, I do that. And then I take me a nap. And I don't lay down to do it. I got this when my sister asked me, she be like, you're in your corner. Yes, I'm on my corner. I can place my head back. And all I do is I close my eyes and I generally go to sleep for about 15 to 30 minutes. And I get up and I'm energized. And this week I was able to get back outside and work in the yard because my leg didn't want to act right. But again, I know that's the area where stress settles in. That's why I went back to the water aerobics too. So, when you think that you got it, everything all handled or resolved, you just have to know. So I was able to get out there yesterday and work in the yard, one of my favorite things to do. And nature always calls. So definitely going to spend some time in nature. So I'm very, I'm very guided. That's the best way that I know how to put it. I'm very guided. And then when things come in like bam from nowhere, it's like I'm constantly knowing that all things work together for my good. That's what I have to say. And it truly does. And as I walk down my hall to close my night out, I have a big plaque that says, "It is well with my soul." And that is how it is a constant reminder. No matter what, it is still well with my soul. And as that, I just feel great in life. And when I don't feel great in life, it still doesn't mean that it's not great. So I take the good and the not so good and I bring it into balance because that's what we've been talking about. is the ability to balance these things that happen in this reality and bring them into making everything good. That's the creative side of us. So, what is it that I can do to be creative is definitely a routine practice. We call it routine, but I call it practice. So that's why I love the word practitioner. That's what I am. I'm practicing just like everybody else to live this best life that I can live as we were all intended to do, Chris.
Yeah. And the more that we start working with some of these energies and we allow to think differently than what we've been told. And I know that my life has become so much more abundant and has brought me closer to God or source just because I have worked with his creation
Yes,
on Mother Earth. And it's just been an amazing experience. And a part of me, I see my vision and I see my future and I'm not scared and I don't feel like I can't have that. It's too far away. My problem
yeah.
is I want it right now, but I forget that I need to be happy with how far I've come.
Exactly.
And, when we get tied up in the past and we're like, I should have done this, I could have done that. I mean, I'm struggling with something now that I'm like, man, I should have been doing this channel 8 years ago. And I don't beat myself up, but it's still that little thought in there. You know what I mean? It's still
I
there.
just
And then I think about the future and it gives me anxiety. And it's like, but I'm running as fast as I can. And but guess what? That's what I do as an Aries. That's what I do as a Leo rising. Okay.
yes,
I'm a trying fire, so I have a lot of energy and it causes me to be burned out. But it's like, okay, that's what I learned from the woods this morning on my walk. That's what, I got to see or feel my grandparents' energy there. They came in the form of a cardinal. I saw a pair of cardinals right as I was thinking about them. And it's like, you feel the energies with clairsentience, or you have these visions with clairvoyance, or you hear things with clairaudience. And it's your way of letting the universe tell you, like, hey, God is with you. Your spirit guides are here. Your ancestors are here. And you are 100% supported by the universe. And we are so very proud
yes,
of you, Chrissy, for how far that you've come in such a short time. And just be happy that you aren't where you were 3 months ago. 3 months ago.
exactly.
I mean, I really am happy I'm not where I was 3 years ago. So,
Me too.
there is something to be said about stop and smell the roses, and
Yes,
don't beat yourself up. If you live too much in the past, that's to cause depression. And if you live too much in the future, that's anxiety. So you just got to be in the present moment and say, this is where I am. How can I get there? But also pat yourself on the back for how far you've come, you know?
yes.
Is there anything that you would like to add today, Deb, before I let you go?
No, ma'am, I think you summarized it very, very well. So all I can say is live and let live.
All right. Guys, I do want to leave you with this one thing. A lot of people don't take action with their lives because of fear. What is causing you to have that fear? A lot of times it's the fear that we put in ourselves, or it's the fear of shame, or it's the fear of I can't have. There is a deep seated issue within a lot of us that allows us to think that we don't deserve a life of abundance for whatever reason. And it could be not something that you've done in this lifetime, but another one. Fear, the acronym for fear is false evidence appearing real. Don't let that false evidence control your real reality. You can be the happiest person that you can be. And just because somebody wants this and, that's abundance to them, what does your abundance look like? Not the monkey mind that says you got to have that special thing on television, or if you want to be somebody, what does your heart really want? How is that going to make you feel abundant? Having this conversation with Deb right now makes me feel abundant because guess what? I wish I could have done this a year ago, but I wasn't ready. And Deb's helping. I'm so proud to be on this journey with her and to see how much she's been able to help me on a topic that, you know, hopefully is not going to be a hobby. Maybe one day it'll end up being a business. And I love sharing space with you. You've become a really good friend, Deb. I just want to thank you.
You are. It is my pleasure, as the Chick-fil-A people say, my pleasure.
Speaking of Chick-fil-A, I need to go get some food. I'm about to starve. Thank
Me
you so much.
too.
If you want to get in touch with Deb Robinson, I have her email link in the description box below. It has also been on the ticker there. It is rrobin12@bellsouth.net. If you would like to have a personalized birth chart reading, maybe get a little bit of information about why you're struggling right now and how to best get out of the situation that you're in and what your soul is telling you to do. There's a lot of energies that have been disclosed from us for so very long. And now in the age of Aquarius, we've gotten a little taste of it. It's time for us to tap into those energies and be the best that we can be. Not just be the best,
Yeah.
but be the best the person that you can be with the talents and the gifts that have been bestowed upon you in order to make your life abundant and to also help other people have abundance as well. Because when you heal yourself, you heal the world. My name is Chrissy Smith. This is Nine Lives Energy, and together we help energize your body from the inside out. Thanks so much.